Pay me, pay me, pay me my silver now. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my silver now.
RoadToRoot.com. It is Saturday, September 30th, 2023. The end of the fiscal year of the United States of America. Yesterday, Friday, the last working day of the year, was a cutoff day for the OCC reporting requirements on precious metal derivatives. Precious metal derivatives. I'll get to that in 1 second. But for private road members, I have posted a very interesting discussion. It's called In-Game Confirmation from the Insider. Go check that out, or go join the private road to check that out. There's also a ton of stuff about the event, upcoming changes, how much wealth the United States really does have if the banks collapse. And no, this is not Nesra or Jesra or the 100 other gurus who say, the United States signed over its sovereignty back in 1871, 72, whatever it was. This is more practical. This is not having to believe in the monetary system, the financial system, the court system, the legal documents that declare our sovereignty. I live in the United States of America. I was born a free human being, and I stay a free human being. You can say what you want and put out any document you want. It's full of shit, according to me, and according to many people who should look at their sovereignty and say, hey, I'm a free person. I was born a free person. I did not willingly give up any of my sovereignty, and I never will. So I don't know why people get, your Social Security number is you've signed over your life. That's illegal in any law system. Anybody who signs over their life and not knowing that they signed over their life, that's illegal. In any system, in any common sense system, even in the maritime law and all that crap. We are heading to a time where the law does not matter anymore. And yes, it will be scary, but we do have a constitution. That's something I believe in. I didn't sign my name to it. It's something I think my country should embrace. Everything else go away. Our leaders are not going to be the leaders of the future. The people in charge now will be in jail if they're lucky. They won't be deciding what the new monetary system is. We have a new monetary system. There's a picture of it right here. That came out of the Fed the same day as the Road to Ruta documents, January 1st, 2007. This is from a pamphlet called Banking Basics from the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston. You can still go on the website and see that along with the Road to Ruta documents. What is that girl doing? She's using gold. She's either cashing in gold or taking out gold, but definitely using gold as money. And yes, this came from the Fed. It came from the same division that implemented the first computer programs to rig the markets in the 1970s. And it continues 100% today. This is a rigged number. This is not the real price of silver. This is what happened today. This has all the earmarks of JP Morgan and Jamie Dimon, who last Monday they got out of purgatory. They are completely allowed 100% legally to rig the markets again. After 3 years, the deferred prosecution agreement has expired, and this is the bullshit we get. Not only that, the U.S. government is involved in the manipulation 100%. As a matter of fact, the U.S. Mint has stopped making Silver Eagles again. Watch the premiums skyrocket. They stopped 2-3 weeks ago. In September, they only did 1,500,000 coins. They were improving. Everybody was getting excited. They did 3 million coins last month or in July. And then everyone's like, oh yeah, this is great. They're coming back. And the premiums have fallen. And then all of a sudden, September, they stopped. They stopped making Silver Eagles, just like Jack Sherman said, we only had 4 million and it's over. I don't know if they'll ever make another Silver Eagle again. I don't know. It depends who wins the game. Are they stockpiling like David Ryder said they were going to do, the old head of the mint? I don't know. And we won't find out until probably the shit falls apart. But clearly, They are not selling Silver Eagles because they are assisting JP Morgan in this operation. Keep the price of silver down, because the price of silver is what destroys the banking cabal, destroys the unbacked out monetary system. It is the number one most important thing that they keep an eye on and keep control of. They don't care if gold goes to $10 million an ounce. As a matter of fact, they probably want it to go to $10 million an ounce because they have all the gold. They don't have the silver. And that's why they have to sit on the price. The price of silver is currently at, 44%, 45% of its all-time high in 1980. How much money has been printed since 1980? This is obvious to anybody who wants to think about it for half a second, other than Jeffrey Christian, who's bought and paid for by the banking cabal. Anybody else in their right mind should look at this and say, holy shit, JP Morgan's back in town. As a matter of fact, let's look at the OCC report, Office of Comptroller of Currency. There are only three banks that control 97% of all the gold and silver derivatives. Three banks: JP Morgan, Citibank, and Bank of America, where JP Morgan takes up half that manipulation at $253 billion. Most of that's gold. They try to hide the silver. Three banks. How is that even possible? And how is that even legal? That three banks can collude together to rig the price of gold and silver. It's right here in the documents. Out of all the banks engaged in gold and silver, three banks control 97% of the derivatives, and the derivatives are off the charts. Citibank, Bank of America, and the kingpin with over half, JP Morgan Chase. So anybody who says, oh, derivatives are needed to hedge the price of bullshit. Derivatives are needed to control the prices. That's all you need to know. The derivative market, ETFs, anything that is not the real thing, is used to control the price of silver. SLV, used to control the price of silver. Everything else is a joke. Get your physical metal, get it in your own possession. It is possible, and maybe even likely, there will not be a drop in the stock market. There will not be a drop in a rise in silver prices or gold prices or anything. It is possible, and maybe even likely, they're just going to stop all trading one day. It's over. And they can blame an earthquake, they can blame an EMP, they can blame a terrorist attack, they can blame whatever they want. The reality is that these markets are no longer viable. The volumes, the sheer volumes of stocks and bonds and treasuries are going crazy, by the way. So everything that affected Silicon Valley Bank at the beginning of the year, is literally on steroids now. Everybody who bought bonds at the beginning of the year, those bonds are worth less than they were at the time because the interest rates keep rising. Remember, everybody was getting into bonds? Well, that's great unless the interest rates keep rising and it's smarter to get into the newer bonds, right? Oh, I bought a 5-year bond because it paid out 3.5%. That was great at the time because years before it paid out 1%. Well, now that bond is underwater and you can't sell it for par value. You can't sell it for what you bought it for because it's a poorer performing asset than the new bonds that are coming out at 4.5%. That's the problem the banks have. That's the problem everybody has. Have you looked at your portfolio lately? Check out your bond portfolio if you own them. What is the fair value? What is the fair market value of those bonds? They are dying on the vine. Many have lost 40, 50% of their value. You didn't even think about it, but it's in your 401k. This is the end game, my friends. So I don't know where they'll place the price of silver on the last day. I don't think they're going to try to save anything. It could be that silver stays at $22.17 and everything just shuts down. It's over. Game over. Now, if that is the case, how do you restart the game after you take out the criminals? I don't know, but it won't be easy. Clearly, people will be asking for a different way to value assets than the derivative rehypothecation, the creation of multiples of assets and not on the basis of nothing. If you hold JP Morgan, if you hold 1 billion ounces of silver and yet you sell 100 billion ounces of silver or put 100 billion ounces of silver in derivative contracts that you're liable for, that can't end well. I know there's a lot of criminal things you can do, but somebody's got to end up with the short position. For every short, there is a long. And it looks like JP Morgan has the long right here in 235 billion, and Citibank and Bank of America, you add those up, that's 223 billion. So that's like, there you go. There you have it. JP Morgan, the world's most criminal bank and the largest bank. How do you think they got so large? Five federal counts they literally admitted to. Is it 4 or 5? I mean, obviously there's millions of other things that they have done. The last one was silver. $920 million fine, silver, gold, and treasuries rigging. Oh, by the way, they didn't have to stop participating in the silver market. Not at all. They still ran the SLV silver inventories, the largest known silver inventory collection in the world is managed by the world's #1 biggest criminal in silver, JP Morgan. Don't tell me the regulators are going to fix this. Don't tell me that, it's no way JP Morgan would ever mess with it. Bullshit. Of course they will. I think Trump went after them for RICO charges. They were trying to take down the economic system so Trump wouldn't win the election. That's how big this is. It's so much bigger than that. I'm surprised they haven't taken Trump out for doing that. Jamie Dimon, knee deep in Jeffrey Epstein. Same with all the board members at JP Morgan Chase. Business partners, that's how the game is run. And that's what we're getting rid of. So hang on tight. It's going to get really ugly. Now, some of the things that are going to help us out, a timeline of U.S. government shutdowns. So, U.S. government is going to shut down today. Is this the day that Dick Allgaier saw with the remote viewing guys where senators are puking in the hallways? I don't know. I don't think so because the government has shut down so many times. The bigger concept to think about is, what if they never open up again? I can't see these Congress people agreeing on anything. It's completely broken. Psychotics on both sides of the aisle. They don't want it to go anymore. They are done. The last time there was a shutdown was 2018. And it's right here. 34 days. It was the longest. The last time was the longest. And this is the new time. In 2018, yeah, the country was kind of divided, but not as divided as it is now. There's no way the Democrats are going to agree to anything that the Republicans want, and there's no way the Republicans are going to agree to anything that the Democrats want. So in 34 days, we'll have a new record. The beginning of November. Imagine. I mean, there's so many things that are going to just stop working. What about the TSA? No more flights? All kinds of shit are going to break down. Article on Zero Hedge. Throughout the 80s, shutdowns were numerous but shorter. While in the 1970s, they also ran somewhat longer, but they only surpassed 2 weeks once in 1978. Government shutdowns aren't all that rare. Since 1976, there have been 20 shutdowns and lasted an average of 8 days. Currently, the threat of another government shutdown is looming large in the United States, despite bipartisan efforts to buy time with a bill that would fund the government through November 17th, which would be, 45 days. A small group of hardliner House Republicans has been using its party's slim majority in the chamber to put pressure on its own leadership. This has so far undercut last-minute funding efforts through so-called stopgap bills, all while debate to pass the actual 23-24 budget legalization in the House is leading nowhere. Unless the status quo changes, the federal government will shut down on 12:01 a.m. Sunday morning, tonight. Okay, so let's just say we have a shutdown. What's the difference between 2018 and today? I would say the biggest difference is we're spending money on war, in a freaking crazy war in the deep state stronghold of Ukraine. They're taking your tax money, funneling it through the Clinton Foundation, and giving it to the Ukraine. It never ends up in the Ukraine. Of course, it ends up at the Clinton Foundation. And the deep state uses it for their payoffs, mainly. They don't have enough money for operations now. It's just payoffs. You got to keep paying people off, or they're going to turn you in. Watch for a lot of people to die mysteriously, especially related with the Clintons. Look it up. The Clinton body count, over 100. But we allow it to happen. We need to stop allowing it to happen. How can you do something? Buy as much physical silver as you can. It's not about making money. It's about preserving your wealth and taking away their power. Those two things are so important. Preserve your family wealth and take away their power. Without physical silver, they are goners. Bix, how can that be? Well, the shorts will be gone. You take away JP Morgan or Bank of America or Citibank, all three are too big to fail banks. What is a too big to fail bank? If it fails, everything fails. Nobody talks about the consequences of a too big to fail bank. Would anybody approve a bailout? What would the FDIC do if one of those banks goes down? Or another bank, any bank goes down? They're all insolvent. And now they're going to have to declare again on their books, with this massive rise in the interest rates and the destruction of the bond market, good night. The banks declare, I think they declare 2 weeks after the end of the quarter, something like that. Not quite sure. But that it is freaking brutal out there. There's shit crashing all along, except you can't see it in the markets. Under control. Everything's under control until it isn't, and then everything stops. And you might be wondering, wait, why isn't the stock market open? Why isn't the commodity market open? Why isn't my store open? Why isn't anything open? Something big is coming. Everybody's seen it. A lot of people talking about the 4th of October. There's so many dates that come and go. It's just, it's laughable. Litecoin Lisa called me and said, oh, Bix, what you're doing what this weekend? No, this is the end of the world this weekend. I said, call me when these dates come and go. She hasn't called yet. They're coming and going. In the meantime, I don't know what the plan is. And that's key because they don't either. Anybody who says, here's what's going to happen, they don't know. They have no idea. Even the people in charge have no idea. They have an idea when they're going to pull a false flag. Absolutely. And it's when they're most in trouble. They're most in trouble now. Cryptos, hang on to them because you won't use them during the crash. You won't know the value during the crash. You won't know the value of your silver during the crash. And the crash might just be a stop. Everything stops. And this shutdown may be the catalyst. It's so much bigger than whether or not the government employees go to work. Anyway, that's what I got for you today. Again, go to Road to Ruta, private road for the in-game confirmation from the insider discussion. Great discussion with Jenny on the event. Go check those out on the private road at Road to Ruta. You can get free public updates, putting your name and email address on the left side. Or if you want to join the private road or renew your subscription, click on subscribe today, and we will send you one Veritasium token. If there's anything that in the crypto world that would be needed to help the old system, it would be something like Veritasium that assures peer-to-peer transactions because it gets rid of the banks, it gets rid of the brokerage houses, it gets rid of all the middlemen. and it's a patented technology from Reggie Middleton. We're giving away one Veri token with every subscription. Cliff High has it in his data, has Veritasium going 1-to-1 with Bitcoin. People ask me, is it 1-to-1 in market cap or 1-to-1 in the price of the coin? Because there's 100 million Veri tokens. Now there's only 2 at the moment, 2 million, because the government confiscated 98 million and they're not telling you what they're doing with them. It's just in limbo. Is it by market cap or is it by coin? And I said, does it really matter? Does it really matter? Either way, you're going to get rich. Or not even rich. It's weird because what will Bitcoin be worth in fiat money versus the new money? All kinds of shit going on. Just get your physical silver, get it in your own possession, get some cryptos, get them in your own possession, sit on your lawn chair and watch the show. That's where we are. This is Bix. I'll talk to you later.